My name is Danielle Peterson, and I'm a senior application consultant. And I live in Minnesota, so that means about half of the year I need to be chipped out of a snowbank in order to go travel and see clients. So I'm really happy to be here, although it's not that cold yet in Minnesota. So the things that I want to talk about today are prepayments in RMA orders. So they've really made some good improvements in this area. In prior versions, they did not have the RMA order, which stands for Return Material Authorization, go out and check to see if prepayment requirements had been met. In this version, 2024 R2, you can configure it to do so. So we'll go through and look at the configuration, what it takes on the order type and the sales order, also what you need to think of post-upgrade and some additional information. And then I've thrown in a bonus favorite, shipments packed in external systems, because I like that one a lot. So with that, there we go. There we go. All right, so like I said, the first thing we have to do is configure this to work well. So we have to go to our order type screen, and the important thing that you have to make sure is on this template tab, the automation behavior is RMA order, default operation is issue, and the AR document type is invoice. Then we also have to make sure that we have credit terms set up. So I've set up one for prepay 50% before the shipment. And then don't forget to turn on this prepayment required checkbox. That's very much key. So once we do that, the last remaining qualification is on the sales order. So this is an RMA type sales order, and what we need to do is go to the terms and make sure we use that credit term prepay that we just set up. And what that does is it opens up this override prepayment area and the prepayment percent and prepayment amount. And then of course this prepayment requirement satisfied checkbox, which is grayed out. So you cannot use that here. So then if we go to an RMA order that has a prepayment met, oh, let me go back one second. I wanted to highlight here that on this status, it shows awaiting payment. And up here, there's, the 24 or whatever. So that's, to note awaiting payment. And then over here on the sales order that you have a payment on, we put this here and it, changes the totals appropriately and whatnot. And then on this financial tab, the prepayment terms are grayed out, but then also this prepayment requirements satisfied checkbox is checked. That's kind of a tongue twister too. So that's checked. And so it will, when you put in that prepayment, it essentially goes out and checks for those requirements to see if they've been met. Let's see. So additionally, what you can do is on this RMA behavior or sales order, sorry, if you have a customer who wants to do a return for replacement, you can have it set up so that it's awaiting payment and you have your issue set up as quantity 1 over here. If you add a line, and this isn't a new feature, but sometimes people forget about it and it's kind of cool. So I'm going to add this line, hopefully relatively quickly. There we go. And I'm going to put in a -1. And then what happens is Acumatica changes from an issue operation to a receipt operation. And then it allows for the create receipt and create shipment functions to happen. The thing you'll also notice is that there's no payments applied to this right here. However, if you go to your financial tab, and scroll down a little bit, the prepayment terms are still here, but this checkbox is still checked because it looks to see that on the previous order, it was already fulfill those requirements. And you can also tell because the order total has become 0. So there are a few important things to note about this. One thing is that there's only certain types of payments that Acumatica considers prepayments. So things that aren't are prepayments and payments with the voided status, any credit card transactions that the pre-authorization has expired on, and any credit card transaction that doesn't have an authorization, a transaction associated with it. Also, Acumatica recommends highly that if you're going to use this, that you recalculate the inventory after an upgrade. Oh, so then the thing about the upgrade is that once you've upgraded it, it automatically goes out and checks to make sure that anything that meets the requirements for this, so all of those configurations that we talked about, as well as having an open or on credit hold status, it will, as long as the total amount is less than the prepayment amount is less than the total amount, it will go out and automatically update that for you. And it will put those on an awaiting payment status. So that's pretty cool. It really kind of takes away any of that worry and work for you. So that's it for the RMA orders. And then the other thing I wanted to show you is on the shipments tab or screen, and then the shipping tab down below, they've added this checkbox that says packaging processed in external systems. And what that means is, and I can't demonstrate it for you because I don't have an external system set up on my local install, but it's usually something like if you're using Easy Post and you're packaging, outside the system. So you have to be an administrator to use it. But what it does is when this is checked, it will take away this shop for rates button, and it will allow you to exceed the limit on your license for shipping. So it's particularly handy if you're doing this using an API or an import setting, so then you don't have to worry about, going over those limits. And then it also turns off auto packaging so that you're not able to do that. The good thing about it is that if you have a sales group who, maybe it's an inside sales group and they want to shop for rates locally, if it's unchecked, they still have the ability to do that. Whereas all of the automated orders, if you can use this and not hit that API call. So that's really a very interesting thing to me because I know there's a couple customers who could use this. So that, I believe, is it for me. We talked about RMA order updates and this shipping update.